Throughout television history, real-life celebrities have been transformed into colorful, animated versions of themselves for Saturday morning cartoons. This unique trend, which peaked between the 1970s and the 1990s, brought musicians, athletes, and action stars into the world of animation, often placing them in over-the-top adventures that blended fantasy with their real-world personas. From the Jackson 5 and the Beatles, which showcased musical superstars on animated escapades, to Mr. T and Chuck Norris, Karate Commandos, where action heroes fought crime alongside teenage sidekicks. These shows capitalized on the star power of their real-world counterparts. These cartoons often served as both entertainment and promotional tools, reinforcing the celebrity's brand while providing children with fun, action-packed, and often moral-driven stories. Though the trend has since faded, the legacy of these shows lives on as a nostalgic reminder of a time when larger-than-life stars could become Saturday morning heroes in their own right. In this video, we're going to take a look at 10 real-life celebrities that were turned into Saturday morning cartoons. Little Rosey is an animated television series produced by Canada-based Nelvana. The series first aired on ABC, part of its Saturday morning block in 1990. It was Roseanne Barr's first attempt at a cartoon. Loosely based on comedian Roseanne Barr's childhood, the series revolved around a young 8-year-old Rosey and her best friend Buddy. The three would use their imaginations to overcome the obstacles they faced, such as spelling bees, family vacation, and rules that their parents forced upon them. Among the reoccurring characters were Rosey's parents, her young sister Tess and Nani, her baby brother Tater, and a pair of nemesis science nerds. In 1990, this animated series aired late in the day on ABC's Saturday morning lineup. 2 years later, an animated special called The Rosey and Buddy Show was produced as a primetime special that aired on May 15th of 1992, in which Rosey and Buddy invade Cartoonland to take on the meddling executives who wanted to change their show. In the 1992 special, Barr voiced the character. The special was only televised once and has yet to be renewed for syndication due to copyright restrictions. Camp Candy is an animated television series produced by DIC Animation, City, Saban Entertainment, and World Vision Entertainment, in association with Frostbacks Productions, with comedian John Candy providing the voice for an animated version of himself. 13 new episodes ran in syndication in 1992 season, distributed by Worldwide Vision Enterprises, along with repeats of the previous episodes. The series was later rerun on the Fox Family Cable Channel from 1998 to 2001. Ownership of the series passed to Disney following Saban Entertainment's closure. The show is set in a fictional summer camp run by John Candy. 26 episodes of the series aired during the 1989-1990 television season on the NBC television network, and as indicated, 13 more episodes were made in 1992. Almost all episodes would begin where John Candy would be trying to show an outdoor skill to some kids, to which he would then be reminded of a story where he would tell of the episode in narration. John was a dedicated and responsible leader of Camp Candy, a summer camp that was presumably built by him years ago, and he frequently tries to get various kids to get along. Some episodes focused on John, namely having to stave off bankruptcy or ruination of his camp due to the plots of Rex DeForest III. In the third season, Candy also appeared in live-action segments talking about nature and ecology, several characters originating from SCTV that were performed by Candy or otherwise also made guest appearances that season. That's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Laurel and Hardy is a 1966-1967 American animated television series and an updated version of Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy's comedic acts by the animation studio Hanna-Barbera and Larry Harmon Productions. Harmon has been developing the series since 1961 while Stan Laurel was still alive, although Laurel had very little involvement. A total of 156 shorts were made, each having its own opening and closing wraparounds to make them easy to air in syndication. As Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel had died in 1957 and 1965 respectively, Jim McGeorge provided the voice of Ollie while Harmon voiced Stan. They would later reprise their roles in an episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies. The majority of the cartoons usually ended with Stanley whimpering in a high register whenever things went wrong for the both of them, as they were running away after causing the damages to their situations. The one-season show was not well received. Critic Leonard Moulton said, "To criticize these cartoons is pointless. Any imitation, even a good one, simply cannot be Laurel and Hardy. No one can duplicate Laurel and Hardy's greatness because they were unique." I Am the Greatest, The Adventures of Muhammad Ali is an animated series featuring boxer Muhammad Ali, who performed his own voice. The series was broadcasted on Saturday mornings on NBC and produced by Fred Culvert's independent production company, Farmhouse Films, in the fall of 1977, but was canceled after 13 episodes due to its low ratings. In the show, Muhammad Ali and his public relations manager, Frank Bannister, both provided their own voices, as Ali went on adventures with his fictional niece, Nikki, and nephew Damon, voiced by Casey Carmichael and Patrice Carmichael. The series received generally negative reviews. In the Encyclopedia of American Animation Television Shows, David Perlmutter writes, perhaps the most clumsily animated, written, and acted series in television animation history, with little of value presented. I guess Ali didn't float like a butterfly or sting like a bee in his animated show. The Abbott and Costello Cartoon Show is an American half-hour animated series of the famous comedy duo that aired in syndication from September 9th of 1967 to June 1st of 1968. Each of the 39 individual episodes consisted of 4 5-minute cartoons. The cartoons were created jointly by Hanna-Barbera, Archeo General, and Jomar Productions between 1965 and 1967. The series was syndicated by Gold Key Entertainment and King World Productions, with the rights owned by Warner Brothers Television Distribution through Turner Entertainment. Bud Abbott provided the voice for his own character. Stan Irwin provided the voice of Louie Costello, who had died in 1959. The rest of the voice cast was composed of Hanna-Barbera regulars. Canadian artist Lynn Johnston, best known for her comic strip For Better or For Worse, was an uncredited cell colorist. Abbott and Costello is among the animated programs of the 1960s that are based on the decade's nostalgia craze, which animated other comedy teams of the past, such as Laurel and Hardy and the new Three Stooges. It was pitched by the duo's manager, Eddie Sherman, to producer Lee Orgel, who also worked on the new Three Stooges and further developed the concept. Orgel originally planned for the series to be produced at Cambria Productions. However, the show's sponsor insisted it be done entirely at Hanna-Barbera instead. The show created work for the ill and impoverished Bud Abbott, who provided the voice of his animated character. Lou Costello had died in 1959, and his voice was supplied by nightclub manager Stan Irwin, who was a close friend of the duo. The New Three Stooges is an American animated television series that ran during the 1965-66 television season starring the Three Stooges. The show follows the trio's antics both in live action and animated segments. The cast consisted of Moe, Howard, Larry Fine, and Joe Dorito as Curly Joe, with actor and close friend Emil Sitka co-starring, as well as Margaret Carey. The stories took place in varied settings, including Newport Beach and sailing as buccaneers on the Spanish Main. 41 live-action sequences were executively overseen by cartoonist Norman Maurer, son-in-law of Moe Howard, serving as their film agent during the period. Additionally, Edward Burns, who directed the team at Columbia Pictures from 1945 to 1952, predominantly during the Shemp era, was enlisted to both script and direct the series. Emil Sitka, a familiar figure from numerous Stooges comedies, was slated to feature in these wraparound segments, assuming the role of a straight man to the Stooges. Under the auspicious Cambria Studios, 156 short Stooge cartoons were produced under the supervision of Lee Orgel. Notably, 4 cartoons were meticulously crafted to thematically align with each of the 40 live-action Stooge opening and closing sequences. Consequently, a single live-action segment could seamlessly transition as a wraparound for 4 distinct cartoons. However, this format posed a challenge for viewers, as articulated by Joe DeRita. There were 156 cartoons, and we made only 40 live-action segments. So after they ran the whole 40, they'd just start over by using these same introductions on new cartoons. This turned out to be misleading because viewers would say, "Oh, I've seen this one before," and they'd turn off the television. They didn't know it was a new cartoon. The majority of the cartoons culminated with the trio fleeing into the horizon following inadvertent chaos as their various employments and ensuing predicaments. Remarkably, these cartoons diverged from Cambria's customary employment of Synchrovox, a potential technique involving filmed footage of voice actors' mouths over still frames. The inaugural cartoon, That Little Old Bomb Maker, featured a distinctive live-action wraparound that remained exclusive to that particular cartoon. A number of the cartoons featured reoccurring characters such as Badman, a juvenile antagonist sporting a Batman-esque attire, who paradoxically is a benevolent 5-year-old boy. Another reoccurring character was the Western outlaw named Get Out of My Town by Sundown. Brown. Let me try that again. Another reoccurring character was the Western outlaw named Get Out of My Town by Sundown Brown. Oh boy. To preclude potential licensing entanglement, Cambria abstained from employing any of the Stooges' theme songs, including Three Blind Mice and Listen to the Mockingbird, despite their lapse into the public domain. Similarly, the on-screen titling employed a numeral 3 to circumvent potential infringement on any trademark held by Columbia Pictures regarding the name The Three Stooges. The new number 3 Stooges represented a subsequent endeavor at animating the trio. In the late 1950s, Norman Maurer sought to market Stooge Time, a hybrid live-action rotoscope animation half-hour series for television. In 1960, Maurer and the Stooges filmed a pilot for the Three Stooges scrapbook, a half-hour series incorporating a 5-minute Stooge cartoon. The Stooges later revisited animated form for Hanna-Barbera, contributing to 2 episodes of the new Scooby-Doo movies, 1972 to 1974, and the series Robonic Stooges, 1977 and 78, the latter development posthumously following the demise of both Moe Howard and Larry Fine. The series posed significant financial challenges for the Stooges. Per the terms of their contract, Cambria Studios' distributor was obligated to furnish quarterly financial statements to the trio, ensuring transparency regarding the show's earnings. However, Norman Maurer recalled receiving only 1 or 2 statements throughout a span of 5 years, precipitating legal action. In the ensuing lawsuit, the presiding judge, lacking substantial familiarity with the intricacies of the film and television industry, ruled in favor of Cambria. Undeterred, the Stooges pursued an appeal in 1975, ultimately securing a favorable verdict. Nonetheless, this legal triumph failed to rectify the distributor's persistent failure to furnish requisite profit statements to Normandy Productions. By the time the litigation concluded, both Moe and Larry had passed away. The Little Rascals is a 30-minute Saturday morning animated series produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions and King World Productions. It first aired on ABC on September 25th of 1982. A spin-off based on the live-action Our Gang comedy shorts, it was broadcast as part of the Pac-Man Little Rascals Richie Rich Show in 1982, and then as part of the Monchichis? Is that how you say that? Monchichis? Little Rascals and the Richie Rich Show in 1983. The characters were designed by Awao Takamoto and Bob Singer by using tracing paper on top of actual photographs of the real-life characters and using a pencil to sketch the characters. The same technique was also used in previous Hanna-Barbera spin-offs such as The Fonz and the Happy Days Gang and Laverne and Shirley in the Army. The Little Rascals have been animated for television twice before. In the 1960s, a series of 9 clay animated Little Rascals color specials were produced for syndication, presumably by Burra and Hardwick, the British studio responsible for Camberwick Green, using soundtracks from the original Our Gang films. In 1979, Fred Wolf produced and animated the Little Rascals Christmas special for NBC. That company's version was further used in animated public service announcements. The animated series and the original live-action Our Gang films differ in a number of ways. The gang now lives in a contemporary 1980s setting with computers and television. Buckwheat is now a clever inventor and is interested in science, always creating new devices for the gang, and Darla's eyes were changed from hazel to blue, although this detail was trivia given that all Our Gang shorts were in black and white. Also in the animated series, the Rascals met in a treehouse and drove around the town of Greenpoint in a dog-drawn vehicle. Also, the theme music was completely different. Furthermore, many characters such as Stymie didn't appear. In March of 1984, Our Gang actor Eugene Lee, who played Porky in the original theatrical shorts film as a child from 1935 to 1939, sued Hanna-Barbera Productions for nearly $2 million, claiming that the animated character was a violation of his likeness rights. He was joined in the lawsuit by other former Our Gang kids, George McFarland, who played Spanky, Tommy Bond, who played Butch, Sidney Kibrick, who played the Worm, Carl Switzer, Darla Hood, and Billy Thomas, who had played Alfalfa. Darla and Buckwheat, respectively, were already deceased. It was found that Hanna-Barbera's license from King World did not include the likeness rights of the former child actors, and the case was settled out of court. Following the lawsuit, ABC stopped airing reruns of the show, and the show would not be picked up for syndication anywhere, including Cartoon Network or Boomerang. This even prevented Warner Brothers Discovery from releasing the show on DVD, as confirmed in 2016. Will the Real Jerry Lewis Please Sit Down is a 1970 animated showcase for various caricatured Jerry Lewis characters, all based on the characters from the 1965 film The Family Jewels and styled in a fashion similar to Archie's TV Funnies and the Groovy Ghoulies. The title is a variant of the deciding question on the game show To Tell the Truth, Will the Real Please Stand Up? The most 1970s era Saturday morning cartoon series, Will the Real Jerry Lewis Please Sit Down, contained an adult laugh track. Though Jerry Lewis contributed to some of the scripts, he did not voice any of the characters. The central character of Jerry Lewis was voiced by David Lander, who would later be better known for his role of Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley. As with all their wilder comedies, such as those mentioned above, and later shows like Uncle Croc's Block and The Secret Lives of Waldo Kitty, Filmation stuffed the episode with slapstick jokes, and the rubbery, gangly animated version of Lewis was well realized, and similar to his depiction in DC Comics' long-running comic book title, The Adventures of Jerry Lewis, originally published as The Adventures of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis prior to their dissolution of their show business partnership. Among the reoccurring characters were Chinese detective Hong Kong Fluis and his rotund son, One Ton San, his father, Professor Lewis, and his sister, Geraldine, and her pet frog, Spot. Presumably, the series takes place somewhere in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area, since in one episode, Jerry sees a roadside that reads Atlantic City, 0.216 miles. In the series, Jerry worked for the Odd Job Employment Agency under the supervision of obnoxious Mr. Blunderpuss. A typical episode found Jerry being assigned a job and making a complete shambles of it in his harmless, naive way. Notably wild in their style were the opening credits and commercial bumpers. The theme song was sung in contemporary bubblegum style, with the song interrupted before the end of its final verse with the title of the show intoned in a scolding manner by an announcer, Howard Morris, who stretched out the word please and shouted sit down. Along with Groovy Ghoulies, this was one of the first Filmation series to feature the rotating Louie Scheimer, Norm Prescott wheel credit. Previous shows featured a standard credit with Scheimer's name above Prescott's. It was also Filmation's first show to feature director Hale Sutherland's name written in fancy lettering. Life with Louie is an American animated sitcom created by Louie Anderson and Matthew O'Culligan for the Fox Broadcast Company. The series is based on the childhood of Anderson growing up with his family in the fictional town of Cedar Knoll, Wisconsin during the early 1960s, although Anderson himself was actually from St. Paul, Minnesota, also situated in Midwestern U.S. The first two episodes aired in prime time on Fox in late 1994 before moving to Saturday morning on Fox Kids from 1995 to 1998. Ownership of the series passed to Disney in 2001 when Disney acquired Fox Kids worldwide. The show's introduction for seasons 2 and 3 involved the main character running towards a TV set, turning one of the set's dials and showing a live-action video of Louie Anderson as an adult saying, "Let me tell you about my family." This was followed by clips of the show from Andy Anderson being pulled by sled dogs, Louie sticking chopsticks in his nose, to Louie jumping off a diving board at a swimming pool, nearly wasting all the water and getting most of the other participants wet due to the fact of him being overweight. Then the show's logo in pink appeared on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, while the main character, wearing sunglasses, ate a dot while sitting on a raft and watching TV on a tire. Season 1 episodes used a live-action intro by Louie Anderson talking to the audience about his childhood, then dissolving into the show. Based on the popularity of the show, various merchandise was released, including apparel, videos of various episodes, a Lake Winnebagashishi, a Lake Winnebagashishi, a Lake Winnebagashish CD-ROM comic book, I'm not sure if I said that right, and a book series for children. The book series was based on the show's various episodes and contained 6 books. Kids' meal toys were also produced for several fast food restaurant chains, including Taco Bell in 1996, Hardee's 1997, Jack in the Box 1997, and the Dairy Queen of 1999. For a time, Life with Louie brand SpaghettiOs in character shapes were available. Oh, yummy. In early January of 2006, TV shows on DVD DVD.com posted a news story that Life with Louie was going to be released on DVD in the US. The information came from Louie Anderson, who mentioned this news on a radio program he was guest on, KQRS-FM. There has been no other news since then, and it is now unknown if this series will be released on DVD in the United States since Louie Anderson died in 2022. However, 3 two-episode sets were released in the United Kingdom in the summer of 2007 as Life with Louie, Volume 1, 2, and 3. The sets were released through Boulevard Entertainment as part of the Jetix programming brand. And I didn't realize he died in 2022. I thought he was still alive. I did not know that. Well, R.I.P. Louie Anderson. Jackie Chan Adventures is an animated television series developed by John Rogers, Dwayne Capizzi, and Jeff Klein, and produced by Columbia TriStar Television, now Sony Pictures Television, Adelaide Productions, the JC Group, and Blue Train Entertainment. The cartoon series premiered on September 9th of 2000 and ran for 5 seasons until its conclusion on July 8th of 2005. The series focused on a fictional version of Hong Kong action film star Jackie Chan, who operates in life as an archaeologist and special agent, combating threats that are mainly magical and supernatural, based on real-life mythologies and supernatural stories from Asia and around the world, with the aid of his family and close friends. Many of the episodes created for Jackie Chan Adventures featured references to Chan's actual works, with the actor making live-action appearances in the form of an interview situation answering questions about his life and work. The series was aired in the United States on Kids WB with reruns, and second-run premiere aired on Toon Disney's Jetix programming block, as well as Cartoon Network's Toonami block, as well as Canadian broadcast on YTV's Vortex. The series proved a success on children's television, including abroad, leading to the creation of a toy franchise and 2 video games based on the series. Jackie Chan Adventures is set in the world with magic and supernatural forces exist but are unknown to much of humanity. These include demons, ghosts, spirits, spells, and various creatures and gods. Although the series focuses mostly on those from Asia, primarily Chinese mythology and folklore, it also includes those from other locations in the world, including Europe and Central America. In the animated series, the actor Jackie Chan exists in this setting as a professional archaeologist with a high degree of martial combat skills, who is forced to accept the fact that magic and the supernatural exists when he uncovers a talisman in an artifact that poses magical power sought out by a criminal organization. Throughout the series, Chan is aided by his close family, including his uncle and his niece Jade, and his close friend Captain Black, head of a secret law enforcement organization codenamed Section 13, alongside additional allies introduced over the course of the series. Each season of the program primarily contains an overarching storyline in which Chan and his allies must face off against a dangerous demonic figure aided by human henchmen by preventing them finding a series of magical objects that can help them to conquer the world. Alongside the overarching plotline, some episodes also consist of standalone stories that focus on Chan and his friends combating magical and supernatural forces that are either evil or not understanding of their situation. While storylines feature action sequences focused on magic and martial arts, they also include comedic situations akin to several of Chan's work in action comedy films. While Chan does not provide the voice of his animated character, he appears regularly in the live-action inserts at the end of the program to offer insights on Chinese history, culture, and philosophy, as well as answering fan questions read by Stacy Chan off-screen. The series often features references to Jackie Chan's films and his own life throughout the series. In the episode A Night at the Opera, Uncle states that he was part of the stage group Seven Little Fortunes, which Jackie Chan was actually part of in real life. Another example is in an episode The Invisible Mom, where Jackie is bitten by a snake and uses a kung fu style known as the Drunken Master from one of his earliest headline films of the same name. According to Jackie, during one of his question segments, the characters of the show are based on certain people in his life. Uncle is based on his agent and father, Jade is based on an assortment of his nieces, and Toru is based on one of his stunt team members as well as himself. The episode And He Does His Own Stunts is a reference to the fact that Jackie Chan does his own stunts in his movies. Some episodes' titles are based on actual film names. For example, Half a Mask of Kung Fu is based on Half a Loaf of Kung Fu. 4 episode titles, Enter the Viper, Enter the Cat, Re-Enter the J-Team, and Re-Enter the Dragon, are based on Enter the Dragon, in which Jackie Chan performs as a stuntman. Shanghai Moon is based on Shanghai Noon. Armor of the Gods is based on Armor of the God. Project A for Astral is based on Project A, and Rumble in the Big House is based on Rumble in the Bronx. Hey, gals and guys, that's it for this time out. And I could probably do these things till the end of time. There's so much material out there and just reliving my childhood and my Saturday mornings. It's pretty cool. It's fun. So I like doing these videos, and I hope you enjoy them. And if you do, please subscribe, like, share, and hit that bell for updates. And I'll go back to the drawing board now and see what else I can dig up. Some old cartoons that I don't even know half of these even existed, to tell you the truth. I don't remember a lot of them. Maybe I'm just old and have a little dementia. Who knows? All right, gals and guys, I will catch you later. Peace out.